Okay, today, so I'm going to walk you through the homework if you need it, so this is just extra help. You don't have to watch this whole thing. You can watch it as much or as little as you need to. This is just for people that might want help with filling this out. So this is 4.4. You either print this worksheet out or you can just do this on a sheet of paper. And our directions are to fill in the tables, graph the lines on a graph provided, and label each line. So here we have all of these. These are family A, and this family is called the shifting y-intercept. So we're going to fill in the slope. So if we look at all of these, you need to write them all down. You have y equals x. Well, y equals x is called the parent function. So we just write in parent function here. And what is the slope? Well, remember it's 1, and the y-intercept is 0, 0. So you're actually going to put the point. And then we look at number 2, y equals x plus 3, and the slope is the same. It looks like the slope is really the same on all of these. So I'm just going to put a 1 because they all have a slope of 1. And the y-intercept has to do with this number here, the b. So we can actually just list all of our y-intercepts. This one would be 0, 3. This one would be 0, 7. This one is 0, negative 1. And this one is 0, negative 6. So those are the y-intercepts for all of those. And then it says, is the slope the same, steeper, or flatter, right here. And the slope is the same on all of these, so I'm just going to put same for all. Easy peasy. And then it says, is the slope increasing or decreasing? Well, increasing means it has a positive slope. So since all of the slopes are positive, then we're going to fill in with increasing. That means it's rising from left to right. So increasing. Okay, so make sure you understand that and have that written down. And then this, remember, these are all shifting y-intercepts. So this whole family of lines has something to do with shifting. So we know what the parent function is. If we look at these, this will tell us if it shifts right here. Plus 3 means it's going to shift up. So is it shifting up? And you have to put the number. So it's going to shift up. Maybe I'll just write the word up. Up 3 plus 3. This one would be up, shifting up, plus 7. That means it's going to shift up 7 units. This one's going to shift down by 1. And this one is going to shift down. I guess I could just put down 6 instead of negative. So there you go. That's the family. And then we need to go down and graph all of these. So down here below, there is a graph. And we need to go in and graph all of those lines. So I'm going to just graph them at the end. So, because I don't know how this will work with my my worksheet. So let's do family B. I'll just use a different color. So family B, it says changing slope. So that means the slope on all of these is going to be different. So first of all, I'm going to write parent function here because y equals x is the parent function. And again, you can stop this at any time or fast forward or however you'd like to do it. So the slope on this one is 1. The y-intercept is 0, 0. So you put the point. Now let's look at number 2 here. Y equals 3x. Well, what is the slope? It's 3. What's the y-intercept? It's also 0, 0. So if it doesn't have anything behind the x, the y-intercept is always 0. The slope here is 1/4, you can see, with the y-intercept as the same. And the slope here is, you have a negative 1 because that's a negative x. And the y-intercept, again, is 0, 0. And then the slope here is negative 2. And then the y-intercept is 0, 0. And again, whenever it doesn't have a number after the x, that means that the intercept is going to be 0. There's an unwritten 0 there. So that's why the y-intercept is 0. Okay, now is the slope same, steeper, or flatter? Well, all of these slopes are different, so we have to decide, are they steeper or flatter? If it is a if the slope is bigger than 1, it's steeper. So that means this one is steeper. This slope is 1/4, so it's less than 1. If it's a less than 1, that means it is flatter. It's a flatter. All right, this one is -1. Well, that just means that the steepness is the same because it's also 1, just like this is 1, but the negative is going to tell me that it's a decreasing line, which we're going to fill in right here. So the slope is actually the same, it's just going in a different direction. So we're going to put same right here. And then -2, that is steeper, but because it's negative, it's going to affect the next block. So let's fill this in now. Slope increasing or decreasing. So if it's positive, it's increasing. So this one is increasing. And this one is increasing because it's 1/4 and it's positive. But the ones that are negative, see, those are the ones that will be decreasing. So the next two are both negative, so you have a decreasing line. That means it's going down from left to right. Now, is there a shift on any of these? The y-intercept is always the same on these, so there's no shift. So I'm just going to write none on all of these. And that'll be it for that section. But now I have to go in, the last part of this is I have to actually graph. And I think there's one more sheet after this, so we're really not done. But I do need to go in and graph all of these. You should be able to do that on your own. I'm going to pause this and graph them and then show it to you. Alright, so now I've graphed this family A. They should all be parallel to each other because they have the same slope, but they're shifted up and down because of the y-intercept. So double check that you've graphed those correctly, and then I'm going to do the next one. Okay, so now I've done this family of lines. Notice they all go through the origin, but they have different slopes. So I have y equals x here, y equals 1/4 x, see it's flatter, and then y equals 3x is steeper, but all three of those are going up. And then I have this one going down, -2x, and this is -x, and those are decreasing. So those two are decreasing. All right, that's it for this page. Let's see what's next on the next page. Okay, so this is our last little section. We have another graph to do. Actually, we have two sections. So we have to fill in this chart and then graph those. And then we have to write the equations in slope-intercept form. So those will be fun to do. All right, so let's get started with these. So first we have, this is the parent function. So you need to write all of these down. That's our parent function. And the slope of the parent function is always 1, and the y-intercept is 0. All right, the next one is here, and we can see that the slope is 2/3, and the y-intercept, the b is -2, so it's 0, -2. And the next one, we have a slope of 3, and the y-intercept is 0, 4. And then the next one, -2 is the slope, and 0, -6 is the y-intercept. And last but not least is another negative slope, -4/5, and then 0, 1 is going to be the y-intercept. So without even graphing these, you should be able to fill in the chart. First of all, is the slope the same? None of them are the same, so we need to decide, is it steeper or flatter? If it's greater than 1, it's steeper, so this one would be steeper. Anything greater than 1 or greater than -1. So this would be steeper. So those would be steeper. And then the ones that are fractions that are less than 1, it has to be a fraction that's less than 1, then that would be flatter. And if it was a fraction that was greater than 1, it would still be steeper. In other words, like 5/4, that would be steeper. But these are flatter. And then if it's increasing, it's positive. If it's decreasing, it's negative. So the increasing ones would be the positive. The first two would be increasing. And then the second two negatives would be decreasing. And then you should be able to tell from the y-intercept if it is a, right here, or even right here on the b, on the equation itself, is the shift. So if it's a minus b, that means it's a shift down, and if it's a plus, that means it's a shift up. So we'll fill those in. This would be down 2, shift down 2. This would be up 4. This would be down 6. And then this would be up 1. And then now it wants us to graph these. So I'm going to pause it and graph it, and you guys can do that as well and check it. Okay, so here are the graphs. So double check yours and see if you did them right. Or if I made a mistake, I'm sure you'll let me know. And let's move on to the next section. Oh, by the way, before I leave this, make sure you know how to graph backwards. So if you don't understand that, you need to ask me in class. All right, so here we have to write the equation in slope-intercept form. That means we're going to solve for y. So if you want to try this on your own, you can, and pause this. Again, you don't have to watch this. So I'm going to do it right now. So first I want to subtract the 4x from both sides. And then that goes away, so then I have negative 2y equals negative 4x goes first, plus 6 because 6 is positive. Now divide everything by a negative 2. So then I get y equals positive 2x minus 3. All right, let's do the next one. Now notice that I have x's on both sides of the equation, so the first thing I need to do is get the x's together, and I can do that by just adding the x to the other x on the other side. So it goes away over here, and then I get 3y equals 6x minus 3, and then divide by 3. So I would get y equals 2x minus 1. Okay, so write this problem down and go ahead and try it on your own if you'd like. Obviously, we have variables on both sides. We need to combine like terms. We need to get rid of parentheses. So the first thing I would do is distribute, just like you would on an equation. So I would get 3, distribute that negative 4, and then you'd get plus 8y here, plus 4, equals, now I have to distribute that negative across, so I'd get y, bring the y down, and then minus 2x, and then minus 5. And then can I combine like terms on either side? Yes, I can combine the 3 and the 4 to make 7. And that is minus 4x plus 8y equals, and then I'm just bringing this down. And now I need to get the x's onto the left, to the right, and the y onto the left. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides because I want to make the x's on the right. So I'm going to do that first. So that goes away. I bring down the 7 plus 8y equals y plus 2x minus 5. And now I want to get the 7 to the other side. So I'll go ahead and subtract 7 from both sides. And then I have 8y equals y plus 2x minus 12. And then I need to bring this y, I need to subtract this y because I want to bring it over here. So if I subtract 8 minus 1y, that's 7y. And then this disappears and goes away, equals 2x minus 12. And then I have to divide everything by 7. Hopefully I'm doing this right. You will let me know if I didn't. So y equals, now I have 2/7, that's my slope. 2/7 x minus, and you can just leave this as 12/7 or 1 5/7. And that should be your answer. All right, that's it for the homework. And now I think you probably have videos to watch or something, but great, thanks. Have a good day.